it. And this space is also to make room for joy, the joy of our being together, the joy of our being alive, the joy of being blessed even still. Welcome, welcome. All of you is welcome here. As I said, this is our first ever online worship, and I'm proud of us for getting here. The very first thing I want to do is to separate us into two different groups. I want to take a minute to talk to people who are using Zoom for the first time, just to make sure they know where all the controls are. For those of you who are comfortable with using Zoom, I invite you now to take a moment and go get yourself your favorite drink. Get a nice hot cup of tea, hot cup of coffee, find your slippers. And also, if you could, please find a candle that you can light at home so that we all have a chalice burning when I light the chalice here. Okay, so people who are familiar with Zoom, feel free to take a minute, walk away. I want to talk just to people here who don't know how to use Zoom, and we'll just do a very quick brief getting everyone up to date. There's 3 things I want people to know who've never used Zoom before. Probably down in your left-hand bottom corner is your mic. Most of the time you will remain muted. We can do that from here. Later on, at the very end, we're going to break people into small groups and you will get a chance to talk to people, and at that point you will unmute. But don't do so now. We're going to try to keep everybody muted so that we don't get a lot of excess noise. Thank you. Next to that, you'll see video, stop video and start video. That's just to let other people see your beautiful face. If you turn it on, we'll be able to see you. If you turn it off, we won't, and either way is fine with us. If you need to move your computer around or your phone or however you're coming into us, best to turn off your video first. It could be really disorienting to the rest of us if you're going to walk around. Feel free to leave the room if you need to and come back. Stopping your video is a good way to do that. I also want to make sure that everybody can see on the bottom of the screen in the middle, there should be something called chat. If you click on that, a chat box should open and you should be able to see that. For most people, it'll be on the right side of your screen. Usually in church, we don't encourage you to speak to each other, to whisper and say hello, but the point of today is really connecting. So please feel free to use the chat. Say hi to everybody, ask technical questions there if you need to, and that will be the way that we share with one another our candles of joy and sorrow. So when we come to that point in the service, we're going to ask people to type them in there. Don't type them in yet, because I want them all in one spot. And I will light the candles here, and Jenny will read the joys and sorrows as people write them in the chat box then. So I want to make sure everybody knows how to use the chat. My tech helper, James, has already introduced himself. He is not here in the sanctuary. That's a fake background he's using, just showing off there. He's not here. Oh, he's got poinsettias in the background. He's got Christmas decorations up. Good job. You'll hear me talking to him every once in a while. If we get something wrong, I'll say, James, put up the slide. We also have Michelle Aldridge, who is hosting our chat box. Michelle is just here to encourage people to use the chat and say hi to everyone, be social. Dan is here and Chuck, and they are giving people technical help by phone. And Jean, Jean as well. We publish their phone numbers in the newsletters. If you need help, please call them, call their cell phones. They will walk you through. Okay, I think that's about all the introductory matter that we have. Again, if you have a question, please put it in the chat box and we will get somebody there to help you with it. I want everybody now to see if you can have a candle on hand so that we all have a chalice to light in just a minute. Okay, and before we go into full worship mode, as usual, we do have a couple of church announcements. Okay, one is after we close worship today, if you feel moved by the service and grateful for the service, I ask you to go to our church website and click on the donate button, which is in the top right-hand corner. It will take you to a page and our PayPal account. Feel free to leave something there. Give us a little gift if you like. Please be sure to mark it pledge or plate. If you mark it pledge, it goes to your annual pledge. If you mark it plate, it will be split with our giving partner this month, which is the Boston Children's Chorus. And I have an announcement. As you know, we are still in the middle of our annual pledge campaign, and so we have an announcement about the progress of that. Kathy Sang is going to chime in now and tell us how we're doing with our pledge campaign. Kathy?
Okay, I'm here. Can you hear me? Okay. Well, good morning, everybody. It's wonderful to see so many of you and know everyone's okay. So on behalf of the 2020 Pledge Drive team, I'm pleased to share with you The pledge drive total we've already received, mostly from the church's leadership team, but also several other members have already turned in their pledge for next year. And this will be news to you even, Suzanne, Reverend Suzanne. As of this morning, we've received $91,575 from 31 pledge units. And that's just over 45% from 1/3 of the congregation toward our $200,000 goal. So now, because we are living in interesting times and we will be meeting via Zoom on March 29th, Celebration Sunday, rather than having you bring in your things then, your pledge forms then, we'd like all the remaining pledge units to mail in or drop off your pledge forms at church by Saturday, March 28th. And that will give us a chance to total them up so that on the Zoom service on March 29th, we can at least announce a total, and we'll wait and celebrate with the confetti and the cake and all flowers and everything when we're all back meeting together again. And I do want to remind people, if you're part of this year's 1/3 Canvas effort, we ask that you wait to submit your form until after you've had your Canvas conversation. And just finally, I just want to thank again those 31 pledge units who've already pledged so generously for next year. These are trying times, but remember, we need everyone's support at whatever level is appropriate for your circumstances to reach our $200,000 goal. And every pledge is greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much, Kathy. That was wonderful. As we know, we have usually through the month of our pledge drive, we also have testimonials from members. During normal times, we have them here in the sanctuary, but here today to offer a testimonial to you is our friend Jenny Wendgrovius. Jenny, are you ready?
I am here. Hi. Hi. So, yep, I've got the whole family here, so please be patient with us with our little superstar over here. But as you all probably know, I'm the chair of the worship committee and I'm the assistant song leader. Stefano and I and the girls started attending in 2018 and became official members in 2019. So, yep, just members for about a year. And let's get the nitty-gritty out of the way. So Stefano and I started pledging right away, and we aren't able to pledge very much because we're paying for a lot of stuff. We're on only one and a quarter income. And we're still paying for preschool for Scarlett and things like that. So for us, there was a lot of deliberating about how we want to support our community. So we pledged only $85 a month last year, but this year we actually decided to up our pledge to $100 a month. We're actually going to be losing income this year because our rental property in New Jersey sold, which is awesome, but it just means that we don't have the same resources. But we realized that supporting this community that's brought so much to us and has been so important to our family is a really big priority to us. So if we can't, do one extra family dinner, that's, out, go to get some good grub, we're okay with that. We would like to give the money to our community. We're here because it brings so much to our lives. Our children get supplementary education that they're not going to get through the school system, and it's going to expand their minds and help them understand themselves and the world better. Stefano and I are finding wonderful community connections. Stefano is on the RE committee, and it's just been a really important thing for our family. But the biggest thing with the time right now, and the reason we're so happy that we have upped our pledge, is because of what's happening right now. Watching the church community and Reverend Suzanne respond to this totally unprecedented situation has really made things clear to me that we are a unified group. Within a week, even less than a week, frankly, in 3 or 4 days, we figured out a way for us all to be together. We've done, tech rehearsals. We've got multiple people from the congregation helping. We've got people I saw that have volunteered to bring food for people or go shopping for people that can't leave their houses. Of course, some people have to be completely quarantined. We're just staying all connected. I know our Facebook page, everyone's chatting with each other. So this has just really shown us that this is a really, really strong community. We're really committed to taking care of each other. And it's just really special. This is just really special. So we're just really honored to be part of this group. We're really happy to support this group in the way that we can. And I mean, the biggest thing for me is just do what you're comfortable with and give what you can give. But we're just so happy, and we love you all. And we're so happy that we have found a way to stay connected, because this is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. So I will pass this back to Reverend Suzanne. Okay.
Thank you so much, Jenny. Really appreciate that. So to get us now into our worship spirit together, we have a special treat for all you cello fans. We have a lovely piece from Tara and her husband, David, coming to us from their home in Arlington. Can we share that beautiful piece? Go ahead. James, that's you. That's your cue, James. Maybe you're busy doing something. Ah, there we go.
Whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshiper, lover of the evening, ours is no caravan of despair. Come yet again, come.
That was beautiful. Thank you so much. Beautiful. Now I have the words of our call to worship this morning. They were written just this week by the UU minister, Florence Caplow. On this strange Sunday, we gather in new ways, linked to each other through the delicate tracery of electrons and through the invisible bonds of sharing and love. With millions, we share the wondering and the fear and the uncertainty of this time. May we each stay well and whole. May each of us find our ground of strength and clarity. May each of us let our hearts break open to new ways of caring for our neighbor as ourselves. May each of us know, even if we are alone, that we are held in a great embrace of love. Okay, now is the time to light your chalices, everyone. The flaming chalice is the symbol of our UU faith, and I'm about to light ours. Churches around the world are lighting theirs this morning. And I don't know if you can see me. Okay, we're good? All right, go ahead. Like stars in the night sky that shine over all of us, let all of our little flames together in our homes connect us this morning in one spirit. And now Randall Gromitstein has a reading to share with all of us. It's the chalice lighting this morning. Go ahead, Randall.
Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. We gather today at the beginning of a time of distancing, knowing that we are called to do new things in the service of all, knowing that this change is an expression of our love, knowing that we will learn to gather at a distance. We light this chalice as a reminder. The flame is different every time. And in the times to come, we will kindle separate flames. Yet the flame is the same each time. And all our separate flames remind us of this community and our shared light.
Thank you, Randall. All right, now it is time for our first hymn together, everybody. And you may have figured out we're going to have to do hymns differently on this medium. It's just impossible for us to sing together. There's huge lag times between everyone's computers. So if we tried that, it would just be cacophony. So instead, I have found videos online that share the music and the lyrics. I'm asking everyone to stay muted and sing from home, sing where you are. Maybe if it's just you, you'll be muted. No one else will hear you except the people around you. Right now, I don't have the capacity to have Tara play music and to show you a slide with lyrics. I'm going to work on that in the weeks to come so that we can have more songs. Today, we're kind of just limited to the videos that I could find. But I want to encourage you to please, even if it feels silly, sing at home. It will help you feel grounded. It will help you feel closer to your UU faith. It will bring your UU faith into your home. Maybe you never thought to sing a hymn before. Maybe you never thought to light a chalice or light a candle in your home. This will help you widen and deepen your faith, and it will help ground you and make you feel calmer. So with all those words, I introduced to you one of our UU classics, and James is going to help us with some screen sharing on this. We're going to sing together, Spirit of Life. Go ahead, James. Thank you, everybody. Thanks so much. Thanks for that singing. Now, if you would, as we usually do, please join me in the words of our covenant. We have a slide to share with you so we can all read it together. Again, keep yourself muted, but read it out loud. And from there, we go right to the Song of Aspiration. Go ahead, James, that's you again. James helping Tara. That was lovely. That felt like you guys were right here with me. Thank you, we did it. Now is usually the time for our story. I had a wonderful ritual plan for this week. I know we're all dealing with plans that have been changed and canceled on us. I had a really cool thing that would have had us all feeling close to each other by holding hands. It wasn't until Tuesday that I realized I absolutely can't do that this week, and I started looking for something else. I also had a big community art project that we were going to start today that was going to be tied into the themes for our pledge drive, and I was really looking forward to it, but I've decided that we need to save that for a time that would really do it justice. So that's on hold too. So I kept looking for a message to use as a story today that would be appropriate to what we wanted. Maybe I realized on Friday or so, it was not a good week to give Katie the week off because I really could have used her help this week. But thankfully, and I am so grateful for this, it turns out there are other Katies out there. I know, not exactly like our Katie, she is one of a kind, but there's one pretty close. Today's story comes from another DRE who's also happens to be named Katie. She's Katie Resendez, and she is the DRE of our UU congregation in Phoenix, Arizona. She wanted to talk directly to the kids of her congregation in online worship, as they're doing too today. She wanted to empower them, to help them know what they can do at home this week if they're home from school, to help their parents and help kids everywhere and adults everywhere to get through this time. So Katie Resendez made a video so that she could put it in the online worship today and share it with her kids. And she put it also online and said, if it works for your kids, please go ahead and share it in your church service as well. And I watched it and I really liked it. So this is my story this week. It's a video from Phoenix. If you'd like to gather your kids around the screen, please do. It's a lovely conversation with them. It gets better as it goes. Have a little patience with it. And it also contains, I think, some wonderful tips for people of all ages during this time. Please go ahead, James, share the message from Phoenix.
Hi, I'm Katie Resendez. I'm the Director of Children's Ministries at UUC Phoenix. How are things in your house right now? Is your grown-up a little bit grouchy? Things feeling a little tense or scary? Your grown-ups are a little anxious? Yeah, I'm a grown-up and I get anxious too, and I'm a little nervous. But I think that with the way things are going and the way things are changing, you actually have a lot of power to help grown-ups through all this. You see, because grown-ups don't necessarily know how to do all the things that you do. As a grown-up, I'm not used to being careful about who I hang out with. And a day off of work or a day off of school, I know can be really fun, but I don't know if I remember how not to be anxious about that. And something that I absolutely know the kids of UUCP are amazing at is hand washing. And I need to be reminded of that all the time. And I think the grown-ups in your house might have the same thing going on. So I thought about it for a bit and I came up with 3 ideas that I think that you can do to help the grown-ups in your house feel a little better while all of this stuff is shifting and changing around them. Because as a kid, you are phenomenally adaptable and you are so good at making sure things go peaceful and shift and change and go with the flow. So I'm hoping that what I talk about today will help you think about ways that you can take good care of your adult. Number 1, your adult might be really worried. So do what you can to make sure that they know that you're going to fill the house with art and music and laughter. Adults love knock-knock jokes. Adults especially love if you tell the same knock-knock joke again and 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 again. Number 2, moms, dads, friends, and grandparents might get really clingy. And I know it feels great to have that connection with them and give them lots and lots of cuddles and to emotionally support them, but it's really, really important that you have some alone time. One way you can do that is by assigning them a routine nap. Now I know your adult might say that they're too old for a nap, or they might resist and say, I'm not sleepy. Consider having them lay down quietly with a book, or maybe cuddle a stuffed animal friend. The important thing is that you get at least a little bit of time all to yourself. Number 3, speaking of schedules and routine, it might be really useful for you to create and post a schedule for every day somewhere really obvious in your house. Make sure for your adult that you include wake up time and nap time and sleeping time, but also balanced meals and sunshine and movement. And something adults really need to be reminded of is taking a shower. Make sure somewhere in there you put bathe. Having a regular schedule will help your adult feel like they know what's coming next and might help you feel like you're in more control. Okay, kiddo, you got this. You have the energy and the heart and the spirit to help your adult get rid of some of that worry and relieve some of the stress in your house. I know you can do this. Remember to, number 1, fill the house with music and laughter and art. Number 2, make sure you get at least a little bit of alone time for yourself. And number 3, you're going to make sure that you make a schedule and stick to a daily routine. That way everyone will feel better in your house. I know that you are doing what you can to take care of yourself and your community. And that is so important and it's so amazing. I see the power that you have and I see the love in your heart and I love you so much.
Yeah, I agree on the whole nap part, and I'm definitely going to put up a schedule in my house. Now we're back in the sanctuary here in Melrose, and this is the time in our worship service that we dedicate to prayer and meditation, to having quiet time together. And the way it usually works is that we start with a centering song that we sing together. This one is a UU favorite. It's another video with lyrics in it that I found online. And right after that, we sit together in silence for 2 minutes. And then I will come out of that silence with our usual chime, which I'll ring here. And then we share with one another our candles of joy and sorrow. And then after that, I wrap it up with a shared prayer. So now, as we move into the time of prayer and meditation, I invite you all to take your hands away from your keyboards, place them in your lap or somewhere else where they're comfortable. Get your whole body comfortable. Sink into your chair and take a nice deep breath. And now we move together into our centering song. And when we come back out, again, we'll be seated for 2 minutes of silence together. Let's go now into our centering song.
Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe out. When I breathe in, I breathe out. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. When I breathe in, when I breathe in, I breathe in peace. When I breathe out, when I breathe out, I breathe out love. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out.
Every week, we take time with one another to share the milestones of our lives. And in this sharing, it weaves us together as a community. We keep this time for sharing our personal joys and personal sorrows so that we might know each other better. I invite you now, if you have a joy or a sorrow to share, to type it into the chat window. Our friend Jenny is going to read them slowly while I light the candles here in the sanctuary.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay, this is from Garen. Garen would like to light a candle of concern in loving memory of Jason Sprankle. Much love to the Sprankle family. Liz would like to light a candle of joy for my brother Terrence, who had a successful stomach surgery. This is from, I only see email addresses sometimes, I'm sorry. El Spear, when someone wants to, I would like to light a candle of memory and gratitude for the life of Gwen White, a good friend who died unexpectedly at the age of 58. She was a true light in this world. This is from Ann Noonan. She would like to light a candle of concern that Hannah gets home safely today from New York City and Liam arrives safely from London on Tuesday. Cheryl would like to light a candle because she has had her pet hamster, Leo, for 2 months. From Jennifer, I am thankful I can work from home and many more are also working from home. I hope that us staying home will make it safer for those who have to go into work. Oh, Cheryl's was from Lily. Thank you, Cheryl. From Dave and Kathy, light a candle of joy. We are joyful that we can both be here with our daughter, Caitlin, and her family, and also with you. We would not normally be able to participate from North Carolina. Nita would like to light a candle for her 70th birthday this week. Corey Mann would like to light a candle of concern for my mother and all of her friends at Linden Ponds Retirement Community, many of whom are frail, wishing them health and safety. Craig and Liz would like to light a candle of concern and love for our good friend whose father is on hospice and is declining quickly. Our friends are here in Melrose and their father is in Pennsylvania, which complicates things even more during these anxious times of quarantine. And then we have one from Liz. I would like to light a candle of concern for my 87-year-old mother who is in the hospital, surviving 2 recent surgeries. We can't visit her, so please send her love. And from Cheryl, a candle of concern about finances regarding no longer having a job, but going to try to enjoy time home with the girls during the schools being shut down. And it looks like that's it for today. So Reverend Suzanne, if you want to light one more for all the unspoken joys and sorrows.
thank you for your help, Jenny. Please, if you would, join me in the spirit of prayer. I offer this piece, which is called Beatitudes. It's by the UU minister, Reverend Lee Paxilla. It's based on a famous prayer you probably have heard by the great teacher, Jesus of Nazareth, who showed us how to love your neighbor. Blessed are the elderly, the immunosuppressed. Blessed are the fearful, the anxious and irritable. Blessed are the ones who use humor to get by, the ones who could use a vacation anyway, the ones who fear for their life. Blessed are the ones who are sick of it, all the flawed logic, the security theater. Blessed are the ones who cry out, this is why we need a safety net, a kinder society, a new world. Blessed are the healthcare workers, the administrators catching heat for every decision, the messengers with no power over the message. Blessed are the sad and the lonely. Blessed are the healthy and the sick. Blessed are the well and the unwell. Blessed are all of us just trying to do our best. Blessed are those who stay kind and clear, who keep our eyes open to each other. Blessed is our neighbor. Blessed are we all. Blessed are we all. Blessed are we all. Amen. This next piece of music is in the space where we usually have our offertory and we gather an offering here in the sanctuary. For today, we can't do that, but again, if you feel moved, please do hit the donate button after the worship service is over. For now, let's enjoy Tara singing to us again. Thank you, Tara. A favorite piece about our ancestors and our deep connections to them, how they survived traumas, and so, like them, will we. Please share Tara's piece, We Are. Looks like we had a bit of a technical glitch there. Not expected. Here we go again. Let's try it again.
For each child that's born, a morning star rises and sings to the universe. Ooh.
Thank you so much, Tara. Thank you so much. That was beautiful. For our reading today, I want to share with you a poem. You may have seen it on Facebook. It's been all over. Maybe it's the silver lining to all of this, or maybe just a little bit of a tiny silver lining. It's a poem written by one of our UU ministers, and it has been shared everywhere this week. She's suddenly a little bit famous, shared by the popular philosopher Rebecca Solnit. There was even a story about its famousness in the Chicago Tribune, which I shared in Facebook. So here's a poem by the UU minister Lynn Unger, who is newly a little famous. Please, if you like, close your eyes and listen. It's called Pandemic, written just this week. What if you thought of it as the Jews consider the Sabbath? Cease from travel, cease from buying and selling, give up just for now on trying to make the world different than it is. Sing, pray, touch only those to whom you commit your life. Center down. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Know that we are connected in ways that are terrifying and beautiful. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Do not reach out your hands. Reach out your heart. Reach out your words. Reach out all the tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Promise this world your love, for better or for worse, in sickness and in health, so long as we all shall live. Here ends our reading. I have to share with you today a brief homily. That's the word I use when the sermon is really short. We'll try to keep this one nice and short, and we can move on to a time of connection with each other. My friends, as you probably know, one of the most famous prayers in all the world is used to great effect by Alcoholics Anonymous and Narcotics Anonymous and Overeaters Anonymous and all the A's. It's the Serenity Prayer, written by the theologian Reinhold Niebuhr. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. If there was ever a time in this life for that little ditty, I believe it is now. So much is beyond our control, and it's so good to be able to see that, to have a tool to see what's beyond our control, and to separate out that stuff, all that you cannot change, to let it go. That might feel really hard right now, but I encourage you to try to do it. Right now, try it with me if you would, just a little mind experiment. Think about all the stuff in the world that you cannot change. Maybe about this virus, about who has it already, about what might happen on a mass scale, everything you hear on the news. Repeat after me if you want to. I cannot change these things. I cannot change these things. I accept that I cannot change these things. I accept that I cannot change these things. And now you can let them go. Let them leave your mind. You cannot do anything to change them, and you are liberated by letting them go. That way we can look at the things that you can change, and there are many, many of those. You can change the things around you in your life with your actions. You can have an impact on who gets this virus in your family and in your community. And we all know, we've been listening to the news, if those of us who have, and I've been surprised actually by some people I've talked to this week who have not been listening. So for them, I want to repeat 2 things you can do. Wash your hands for 20 seconds. A lot of people have been saying you can wash your hands and sing yourself happy birthday. And I want to suggest a UU alternative if you're already bored with that. You can sing Come, Come, Whoever You Are, which Tara shared with us in the introit this morning. Come, come, whoever you are. That's about 20 seconds long. So there's a you ditty to sing while you wash your hands. And number 2, stay in. I can't say this enough. This is why we've moved worship service online, why we've canceled all of our in-person church gatherings. Not because I don't want to see you, of course not, dear God, no. It's because we want to have a clear message to send to everybody. Staying home saves lives. We all have to flatten the curve. The less we move around, the fewer people will get this, and that will help us ensure that we'll have enough hospital beds and functioning healthcare professionals to look after those who need it the most. Staying home saves lives. My mantra this week is, as you may have heard already, stay apart, but stay connected. How are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? I think we're going to have to get creative. You may have seen that thing I shared on Facebook about a street in Italy. It's in one of the cities in the north, an abandoned street, but actually people are hanging out their windows on the second floor just to sing to each other. I love that story. I shared something else about a restaurant somewhere that took all of their excess food once they closed down and they put it in lunch bags, and they're actually giving out lunches and inviting people to come and take these lunch bags and bring them to people they know who are in need, drop them on their front porch. I love this kind of creative thinking. And I think, you know, as they say, necessity is the mother of invention. Now is the time for us to get creative, like we have in joining together in online worship. But we're going to need a lot more creativity. I'm sure you've heard that the Boston Public Schools have shut down now officially for 2 months to the end of April. Did you know that 8% of the kids in Boston Public Schools are homeless? 8%. And some other bigger percentage depends on the schools for 2 meals a day. So we're going to have to figure out ways to come together to feed these kids and find a way for them to stay safe. We're going to have to find creative ways to do all of these things. And I'm going to be in touch with ministers in the city and in the vicinity and figure out what we can do together, what we can build together. How can we be creative and help the people who need it the most? It's going to take all of us helping to care for all of us. Just like Katie had in the kids video, she had 3 suggestions, 3 ways that kids can help. I have 3 ways that I want you to help. 3 things that I'm hoping you will promise me. Let me see a 3 if you're listening. Okay. Number 1, I want you to promise that you will ask for help. If you get sick, please let us know. If you need help with groceries, please let us know. If you need financial help with utilities, rent, or necessities, please send me an email, minister@melroseuu.org. Send me an email about any of those things. This is not a time to be stubborn. We as a church are proud of our history as a community that helps each other. Please give us the opportunity to help you. That's what the Minister's Discretionary Fund is for. It's for helping people in need. And if you're one of those people, please don't hesitate to ask. Okay? Number 1, ask if you need help. Number 2, offer help if you can. If you are younger and healthy and able, we are putting together a team of people who can volunteer to run errands to support people who need it. We will wear gloves and use Clorox and Purell, I promise. But if you need us to run and get you some toilet paper, if you need us to get you some cans of soup, let us know. We have an email for our new team. It's caring@melroseuu.org. Send us an email, send me an email. We will get it done for you. The 3rd promise I need from everybody today is that you will reach out to each other. This is going to be more important than ever in these days. Social isolation leads to loneliness, which in itself is a big problem. I need us to fight loneliness every single day. That's what our church is for. That's why we came here to begin with. And now we got to step up and live it out. Check your email, people. If you're not getting weekly emails from church, sign up on the website. It's under the news tab, or email the church at office@melroseuu. This week, we're going to send out a new church directory to everybody. I want you to open it up, check your info, make sure it's right. And then I want you to call some people. Just use the directory and call some people from church. Check in with them. Trust me, they will be delighted to hear from you. In the last few days, a team of us have called everybody we have phone numbers for in the church just to tell them about online worship and to walk them through it. And I tell you, people were delighted. People are actually picking up the phone now. They didn't used to do that, but it seems like we're all sitting at home maybe with nothing to do, and we're happy to hear from each other. So I beg you to call each other up and check in. And if you don't know what to say anything. Just say, hey, it's me from church. Reb Suzanne said we had to call people. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Do you need anything? And then just listen, really listen to each other. People need to talk and they need to connect, and I'm depending on you to help us. Another way to connect is to join our Facebook group if you haven't already. It is hopping. We're checking in with each other there every single day. We're posting photos of our families, our hikes, our crazy art projects, and it's a blast. We're having a good time. So in days to come, please check out the Facebook post. Also, we're coming up with new ideas to connect with each other to use this Zoom room in new and innovative ways. I'm going to be hosting a book group here. Ann Noonan has an idea for a reading group, which I think is really fun. She's working on that. We're going to have discussion circles. We're going to have check-in rooms. I'm thinking of even making an extra worship service, just a place maybe Wednesday night where we come and light candles and check in with each other. I think it might be important. We need to see each other's faces, and this is a way to do it. Okay, so those are my 3 promises I want from everybody. Twisting your arm. For now, let me wrap up this little sermon. Because in just a few minutes, we're going to move into virtual coffee hour. Trust me, it'll be fun. We practiced it yesterday. You'll get to talk to everybody. Just 2 more thoughts. I know you have all heard the famous quip from the Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard. Prayer doesn't change things at all. Prayer changes people, and people change things, right? You've heard that. What I understand it to mean is that it doesn't really matter so much what you believe about God. If you believe in a God or you don't believe in a God, you can still pray either way, because prayer is just a way of centering yourself. It's a way of managing your own stress, realigning yourself so you can face whatever life brings your way. So if you can use this prayer from that perspective, then you can really dig into the Serenity Prayer, and you can use it as a tool when you're down, when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. I invite you to practice it, to pray it. Whatever your take on God, you can use that prayer as a tool, a way to focus on what you can do now in this moment, how you can learn just to listen for the next right thing. It will pop up for you, and you will be able to do the next right thing. If you know the words, I invite you to pray with me one more time, the Serenity Prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Amen. Okay, the sermon is over, but not the worship service. Before I close us down with our final hymn and the benediction and you all start leaving, you can always leave at any time. But before we officially close down, I want to offer everyone an opportunity to talk briefly with one another, because I believe our need to connect is sacred. In these days more than ever, that belongs in the worship service. If you can't stay, that's fine. But if you would like to stay and just say hi to a few people that you love, please, you are welcome to do that. And newcomers are welcome there too, just to say hi. James, my tech helper, has already arranged some breakout groups, and we've already asked some volunteers to serve as hosts in those breakout groups. So in a minute, we will ask you to go. You'll land in one. It'll be a room like this, but there'll only be 7 or 8 people in it. So each person will get approximately 3 minutes to talk. The whole thing will only be 20 minutes long. The groups will stop at 20 minutes and we'll come back here, then we'll sing a final hymn. In the groups, you have a host. The host will just ask each person to check in. How are you doing? How are you feeling? As you get into the group, stay muted. James is going to mute everybody again now. Stay muted as you land in your group. Wait for your host to call on you. They're going to call on one person at a time, and everybody will get to talk for just a couple minutes. So if you want to try this, please, now's the time. We're going to go on breakout groups now, and then we'll meet back here later in 20 minutes for a closing hymn. Thank you, James. Good.
Yeah. So
All
we
right.
may want to give people 30 seconds until they all get back here. I
Okay.
don't think I can tell, but I'll look.
Well, everybody feel free to go into the chat and give us feedback about that. If it worked, if it didn't work, if you would do it shorter next time, longer next time, whatever you want us to know about that experience. And just as soon as everybody gets back, we've got one more video, our closing hymn that we can all sing in our own spaces. And then if you want to come back here for the benediction, and then we will call it a day, a Sunday, a complete Sunday. Okay, I think everybody's back. James, what do you can see better than me. What do you think?
I can't really tell. I haven't found a good way to figure this out yet. Sorry.
Okay, cool. Well, listen, I think go ahead and do the share screen and we'll move into the closing hymn. Okay, we'll get there when we get there.
Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole. Circle round for freedom, circle round for peace, for all of us imprisoned, circle for release, circle for the planet, circle for each soul, for the children of our children. Keep the circle whole.
For our benediction, I remind you of the words from the poet Lynn Unger. And when your body has become still, reach out with your heart. Reach out with your words. Reach out tendrils of compassion that move invisibly where we cannot touch. Know that our lives are in one another's hands. Amen.
Amen.